Okay, and the third consecutive meeting of governance committees for all of our corporations is the SESC Governance Committee meeting. We are going to open the meeting and thank you all for attending. Sarah, will you read the roll?
Yes, I'd be happy to. Today for the SESC Governance Committee meeting, we have committee members Beryl Snyder in the New York City office, Joan Sullivan in the Albany office, and Al Carney is also joining us via Zoom pursuant to an exception of 3.7 of the bylaws. Also joining us for board members, we have Jerry Romsky and Robert Rodriguez in the New York City office. Back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Sarah. The first order of business is review of the minutes from the April 11th, 2023 Governance Committee meeting of the SESC Governance Committee. Does anyone have any questions or comments as it relates to these minutes or recommending any changes? If not, may I have a motion to adopt the minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the motion is unanimously passed. Now I think I have Nadine up because I saw her on the screen moments ago. And I would like you, Nadine, can you hear me? Do you have reception?
Yes, can you hear me?
Excellent, excellent. You look more comfortable than I do, actually. Would you walk us through the rest of the agenda?
Certainly. So, oh my gosh, my computer just closed. So the board has before it a resolution for the amendment of section 4.1 of the bylaws, SCSC bylaws, removing the requirement that the managing director of executive direction be the vice president for the SCSC corporation.
Why is that?
Yeah, I was gonna say it, I think, can you give us a little explanation of why that happened? Sherry, I think, made a very good point. You and I know, Nadine, I'm not sure the rest of the committee and board will know why. Again, there's nothing extraordinary about it. So thank you, Nadine.
Correct. So, to your point, yes, there's nothing extraordinary about it. It's just that that position was added at the time because the other subsidiaries had it. So it was an additional add for a second vice president. That's not needed in this for this entity. The first vice president can adequately serve and has knowledge and information regarding the construction and real estate work that's required for the SCSC corporation. So we do not need a second vice president for this entity.
Well, I think that I get it, Nadine. I'm not giving you a hard time, and it doesn't matter to me. But I think when we did this last year, there was a whole thing about the second executive vice president, and why there was a bit of a back and forth and everything else about why it was important, why it had to be this person, that person. But
yes, because it was specific to the individual who was that would be the second vice president at that time. Before we had Paul Koopman, and we also had Charlie, both of whom have extensive experience. So now that Charlie's assumed the position of vice president and will serve as the first vice president for SCSC, we think that there's adequate representation by
it's just really continuing Charlie's role in that position. That's at the end of the day, that's what
correct.
It does.
Correct.
Okay, thank you both for clarifying that. I'd like to ask the committee members to, I'd like to ask the committee members if they concur, and if I could have a motion to recommend this change in the bylaws to the full SESC board. To committee?
I'll move it, yes.
And based on Nadine's explanation. I agree.
Thank you so much, Joan. Thank you so much, Al, and very much Nadine. So I'd like to, the third matter before this governance committee is the annual review of the mission statement, performance measures and metrics to quantify performance goals. Nadine, will you report? Nadine, it's your, the ball's in your court. Do you have any changes to recommend?
There are no changes to the mission statement and metrics at this time. For
And
recommendation to the board.
thank you so much, Nadine. Committee members, do you have any changes? Do you agree with this analysis? And if so, could I have a motion?
I'll move that too.
And I'll second.
Thank you both. Excellent job, committee. Excellent. And finally, a motion to adjourn. Any takers?
I'll
Thank you.
second it.
Thank you. Okay, we are adjourned.